Hello everyone, welcome to Advanced Knowledge Systems and a warm welcome to AKS IAS Academy, which is one of the premier institutions in India, and it offers examination coaching for UPSC, CSC, State Public Service Commission, SSC Combined Graduate Level and CLAT examination. And about me, I'm Sandeep Bhushan Thumala, and my credentials are I have 10 years of teaching experience for civil services. I take up international relations and internal security and the analysis of the Hindu newspaper. And this session is the daily news analysis of Hindu, that is of today, of 2nd February 2021. And in this session, I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, wherein we will identify the factual, analytical, and conceptual questions which will be useful for the UPSC prelims perspective. And while you imbibe the keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing for the mains examination, your answers would be precise and concise. Thereby, you would score higher marks in the mains examination. And this session at AKS IAS Academy Daily News Analysis will help you to crack both prelims as well as mains examination of the year 2021. And before we get into the DNA, we would look at the quote of the day. And the quote of the day says that the distance between your dreams and reality is called action. So what is very important if you want to have success, which is success is just the distance between the dream and reality is that you need to have action. So definitely the secret of getting ahead or secret of getting into the success path is that you need to have the action in place. So the distance between your dreams and reality is called action. And today's newspaper, as we discussed, we will get into the DNA, but today's DNA, that is daily news analysis, will have the comprehensive understanding of the budget. So today's DNA would be budget news analysis, BNA. And while focusing at the newspaper, we would look at the topic of the budget 2021, wherein the headlines talks about recovery vehicle. So what recovery vehicle we are talking about? Yes, certainly in regards to the growth of the country. So the Union Finance Minister has tabled the union budget, which is virtually for the first time, virtual union budget has been tabled. And Union Finance Minister, while tabling the budget virtually, has invoked aphorism, that is sayings of Rabindranath Tagore. And we will look at what the Union Finance Minister has invoked the sayings of Rabindranath Tagore. That is, faith is the bird that feels the light and sings when the dawn is still dark. So it means a lot. It means a lot in this phrase what the sayings of Rabindranath Tagore, that is, faith is the bird that feels the light and sings when the dawn is still dark. So that means when the situation is worse, still we need to feel that there is a light and sing, and then have faith in us, that which will make the country at this situation to recover the economy which is sluggish. So in regards to the union budget presented by the Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, she has pushed for infrastructure and healthcare spending. So she has emphasized on the infrastructure and healthcare spending. So these are the keywords. There would be many keywords in today's budget news analysis, and all the keywords are certainly crucial for you all for the prelims as well as mains examination. So the Union's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has pushed for infrastructure and healthcare spending, and she has focused, or she has sought to reduce the fiscal deficit, that is the expenditure of the government or the government expenditure. So now the fiscal deficit is estimated at 9.5% of the GDP. So the fiscal deficit in the year, or else for 2020 and 2021 the fiscal deficit of India is 9.5% of GDP, and finance minister is seeking to reduce that fiscal deficit of 9.5 percentage, and she, that is the minister, is targeting the fiscal deficit of 6.8 percentage of the GDP, which wherein now it is 9.5 percentage. Please do understand this difference of what the finance minister is seeking to reduce the fiscal deficit, wherein now it is 9.5. She wanted to reduce it, and the target for fiscal deficit to be reduced is 6.8 percentage of the GDP. And the finance minister, while emphasizing on the infrastructure and the healthcare spending, has proposed the capital expenditure of 5.54 lakh crore in the year 2021, and this is 34.5 percentage higher than the previous year. And this increase of capital expenditure, wherein the target would be to reduce the fiscal deficit to 6.8 percentage of the GDP, wherein right now the current fiscal deficit is 9.5 percentage of the GDP, and this capital expenditure increase will be along with the gross market borrowings, which will be around 12 lakh crores. So the capital expenditure will be along with the market borrowings. So the capital expenditure of 5.54 lakh crore will be in addition or including gross market borrowings, which is of 12 lakh crore rupees. And the government has planned to continue the path of fiscal consolidation. So this is a keyword wherein the government is focusing to consolidate the fiscal, or to make sure that it would continue the path of fiscal consolidation, and the government intends to reach the fiscal deficit below 4.5 percentage of GDP by 2025-26. So look at what the finance minister is targeting about the push or seeking to reduce the fiscal deficit. I reiterate, the fiscal deficit current, it is 9.5 percentage of the GDP, and it wanted, the finance minister is targeting it to reduce the fiscal deficit to 6.8 percentage of the GDP, and further gradually to reduce below 4.5 percentage of GDP by 2025-26. So 9.5 percentage to 6.5 percentage to 4.5 percentage. So right now 2021 it is 9.5 percentage, that is fiscal deficit, and by 2025-2026 the finance minister's target the fiscal deficit to be reduced or below 4.5 percent. And this is a key analysis which we are talking about, a key term called as fiscal deficit, and the government is betting on the GDP, wherein it would be, that is India's GDP would grow which close to 10% to 10.5% in the coming year, that is in the next year, that is it is 2021 to 2022 fiscal year, it would be close to 10.5%, wherein we have seen that the GDP or India's growth rate has declined to 7.5 or 7.7% in the year 2021. But the government is expecting that the GDP of the country would grow to 10% to 10.5% for the fiscal year 2021 to 2022. And the government also is riding on multiplier effect of infrastructure spending. So as I said that the finance minister is or has emphasized in the budget on the infrastructure and health spending. Please do understand, on infrastructure and health spending. So the government is now focusing on the multiplier effect on infrastructure spending. So here the keyword is multiplier effect. So what would be the effect by spending on the infrastructure? So the effect of spending on the multiplier infrastructure spending would be on spurring or increasing the demand and the job creation. So the multiplier effect of infrastructure spending would spur, that is increase the demand and also create jobs, employment, job creation. So here the keyword is multiplier effect and spurring of demand and then job creation, which would be the direct effect of multiplier effect of infrastructure spending. And there is certainly a relief in the budget because the finance minister has refrained from levying COVID-19 cess or surcharge. That means the finance minister has refrained, has moved away or taken away the cess and surcharge on or levying a COVID-19. So COVID-19 cess or surcharge is refrained in the budget 2021 as per the finance minister. Please do understand, this is the keyword. COVID-19 cess or surcharge is refrained in the budget, and the finance minister has set aside 35,000 crore for COVID-19 vaccination program. Here the keyword is COVID-19 vaccination program. The finance minister in the budget has allocated 35,000 crore, and the overall budget outlay for health and well-being, here another keyword is for the entire health and well-being, the budget, overall budget allocated, the outlay is 2.23 lakh crore, which is 137% rise comparing it with the previous fiscal year, that is 2020 and 2021. So we have focused here the importance of pushing by the government in the union budget on to the infrastructure and healthcare spending. So we have focused or we have looked at the keyword, especially the multiplier effect of infrastructure spending, refraining from COVID-19 cess and surcharge and COVID-19 vaccination program, and the entire or overall budget outlay for health and well-being. So these are the crucial, and the very important is fiscal deficit. So these are the crucial keywords in this news, so that you need to focus how the finance minister has emphasized on the infrastructure and health spending. And the foreign direct investment limit in the insurance sector has also been raised to 74% from 49%. And the government is now with a new ambitious policy that is called as strategic disinvestment policy. So the keyword is, as we have looked at, the FDI's limit has been increased from 49 to 74% in the insurance sector, and the new policy, which is ambitious policy by the government, is called as strategic disinvestment policy. So this policy is the new one, and this will kick off by sale of 2 public sector banks and a general insurance company in the year 2021. So definitely this strategic disinvestment policy would start with 2 public sector banks sale and a general insurance company sale. So that is disinvestment policy, and it is a strategic disinvestment policy. And as per the budget, there would be a bare minimum number of public sector enterprises, and this will be retained even in the strategic sectors such as defense. So the strategic disinvestment policy and the strategic sectors, which is defense, there would be a bare minimum number, that is very few number of public sector enterprises which would be retained in the strategic sectors such as defense. And another new institution has been set up, and this is the keyword, that is the new institution which has been set up to fund the infrastructure projects, and this funding of the infrastructure project would be done by the new, that is the development finance institutions, which will be under national infrastructure pipeline. So the keywords here are that development finance institution, which is being to be set up to fund infrastructure projects under the national infrastructure pipeline. These are the keywords because it is a new institution which has been set up and it is mentioned in the budget 2021, and there would be a creation of asset construction firm. There would be an asset construction or asset reconstruction firm, or also termed as bad bank, and this firm or bad bank will be tasked, or it will have a task of taking over or merging all the bad loans of the public sector banks, so that this asset reconstruction firm or bad bank will try to cope with the rising non-performing assets. So in regards to the non-performing assets, the budget has mentioned about an asset reconstruction firm which will take over all the bad loans of the public sector banks to cope from the rising non-performing assets. And for this they need to be recapitalization. So 20,000 crore has been earmarked for recapitalization of banks, which would be part of the asset reconstruction firm or bad bank. And the finance minister has compared the budget of 2021 to Team India's successful comeback in the test series against Australia in Australia. So focus is on the finance minister invoking Rabindranath Tagore's aphorism, that is saying, faith is the bird that feels the light and sings when the dawn is still dark. And again comparing the union budget to the Team India's successful comeback in the test series against Australia. And another news which we will focus, again this analysis is purely in regards to the budget 2021, and here the center is to amalgamate market loss into a single code, and this is again crucial information because the amalgamation or combining or joining or merging the market loss into a single code, and this was announced by the Finance and Corporate Affairs Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in setting up a single security market code. So this is a keyword. Which code is been mentioned in the budget 2021? It is single security market code. And how this single security market code would be set up? By consolidating four acts for market loss. What are the four? Which is again crucial for prelims. So these are the provisions of SEBI Act 1992, and the second one is Depositors Act 1996, and the third one is Securities Contracts Regulation Act 1956, and the fourth one is Government Securities Act 2007. So all these market laws or acts, four acts would be consolidated, and it would have or it would form a single code, and that single code is called as single security market code. And this move or initiative to amalgamate the four acts or market laws into single code will improve ease of doing business in the country, especially country's financial markets, and it will cut down the compliances, it will reduce cost and do away with friction or any kind of rupture between various stakeholders. So the main agenda of amalgamating the market laws into single security market code is that it will improve the ease of doing business, keyword, especially in the financial markets, and it will cut down the compliances, reduce cost, and also do away or it will keep aside the friction between various stakeholders. And the budget has also proposed to create a permanent institutional framework. So again, this is a keyword which the budget is proposing to create a new one, which is permanent institutional framework. And this, the reason to create is to instill confidence among various participants. In which market? It is corporate bond market. So the permanent institutional framework would be in the, or it will instill the confidence among the participants in the corporate bond markets, especially during the time of stress, and this will also generally enhance secondary market liquidity. So here, which is very important, is we are talking about corporate bond market. This is a keyword, and in the corporate bond market, the budget has proposed a permanent institutional framework which will be useful during the times of stress, and this permanent institutional framework would also enhance the secondary market liquidity. Not only it will instill the confidence of the participants in the corporate bond market, but it will also enhance the secondary market liquidity. And the government has also announced establishing a system of regulated gold exchanges. So this is another key phrase again, wherein the budget is now announcing to establish a new system, that is regulating or regulated gold exchanges. And for this, SEBI will be notified as a regulator, that is for the regulated gold exchanges, SEBI will be as a regulator, and the warehousing development and regulatory authority will be strengthened, and it will be strengthened to set up a commodity market ecosystem. So the warehousing development and regulating authority will be strengthened for the system of regulating gold exchanges, wherein SEBI will be acting as a regulator, and there would also be a setup of commodity market ecosystem, an ecosystem which would be of commodity market ecosystem. And the finance minister has also proposed to introduce an investor charter. So again, this is a new which the finance minister is proposing to introduce an investment charter, and this investment charter will be as a right of all the financial investors in all the financial products. So we are focused in regards to the corporate bond market, and also in the gold exchanges, and the secondary market liquidity, and commodity market ecosystem, and investor charter in the all financial products. So you have the keywords which are crucial for prelims UPSC and mains UPSC perspective. And there is another news part of the budget wherein tax slabs remain unchanged. So we will look at the various slabs in the income tax. So union budget has not made much of changes to the personal income tax slab of 2021-2022, and the union budget for the personal income tax slab has provided relief to the senior citizens in regards to the filing of IT returns, and it has also reduced the time for IT proceedings. And the union budget has also announced a setting up of, this is again very important because the budget is emphasizing on setting up of dispute resolution committee and a faceless income tax appellate tribunal. So the keywords are dispute resolution committee and faceless income tax appellate tribunal, which would be set up. And the budget in regards to the income tax has provided relaxation to the NRIs and it has also offered to increase the exemption limit from audit. So the limit from audit has been exempted. It has increased in the exemption limit, and the budget in regards to the personal income tax has accounted for relief for dividend income. So dividend income is also keyword which the union budget has also focused, keeping in view in regards to the personal income tax for or personal income tax slab of 2021-2022. And the finance minister has also announced various steps to attract the foreign investors into infrastructure development, and also announced relief for affordable housing and rental housing. The keywords here are affordable housing and rental housing. So there is a relief for affordable housing and rental housing, and tax incentives have been announced for the IFSC, that is International Financial Service or Services Center, and there is a relief for small charitable trust in the budget, and there are various steps taken for incentivizing startups. So for the startups also the finance minister has announced few incentivizing startup for the businessmen or entrepreneurs for the country or in the country. And this budget has proposed to make dividend payments to REIT and INVIT, that is the dividend payments would be made to the real estate investment trust and infrastructure investment trust, which would be exempt from TDS, that is tax deducted at source. So the budget is now trying to focus on real estate investment trust and infrastructure investment trust, so that they would also, that is the real estates or realtors or developers would also be making some profits. That is why they have been exempted from TDS. And the budget also has proposed for foreign portfolio investors advanced tax liability on dividend income at lower treaty rate. So this is the keyword. FPI's advanced tax liability on dividend income is lowered as per lower treaty rate, and the finance minister has also announced a new tax exemption. This is a new one which we need to focus, and this will be for notified affordable rental housing projects. The key phrase is the tax exemption is being announced. This is a new tax exemption in the budget 2021, and this is for notified affordable rental housing projects. Please do understand, tax exemption. And this new tax exemption is to promote supply of affordable renting houses for the migrant workers. So for the benefit of migrant workers, the budget has taken into consideration of announcing a new tax exemption for notified affordable rental housing projects. And the budget has also proposed to make notified infrastructure debt funds, so that this infrastructure debt funds which are notified would be eligible to raise funds. Please do understand here, the infrastructure debt funds which are notified, they would be eligible to raise funds by issuing bonds, that is called as tax efficient zero coupon bonds. And this is again a new one bond which you need to focus for UPSC perspective. Zero coupon bonds by the infrastructure debt funds, and these zero coupon bonds are to raise funds by the debt or infrastructure debt funds. And there is another news which talks about privatize 7 major ports of the country, and the government now has decided or said in the budget, and the finance minister has said that 7 major ports in the country which are worth 2000 crore would be privatized in the year 2021-2022, and this was announced by making a subsidy scheme of 1624 crore for a period of 5 years for Indian shipping companies, and this subsidy scheme has been provided in the budget by the finance minister for a period of 5 years, so that this encourages, that is the subsidy scheme, here the keyword is subsidy scheme is the keyword. This subsidy scheme will encourage more merchant ships with Indian flag. So certainly again it is Atmanirbhar Bharat, wherein it wanted to encourage Indian shipping companies for a period of over 5 years with a subsidy scheme of 1624 crore, and this initiative will enable greater training and employment opportunities for Indian seafarers. So this subsidy scheme will benefit or enable training and employment, greater training and employment opportunities. Here the announcement made by the finance minister is this subsidy scheme, and 7 major ports would be privatized, and the budget envisages boosting the recycling of ships. The keyword is recycling of ships. For recycling of the ships, the budget has emphasized on boosting the recycling of ships at Alang in Gujarat. And the minister has said that the capacity to recycling of shipyards in India will be now doubled to 4.5 million light displacement ton by 2024. And India has enacted an act that is called as Recycling of Ships Act 2019, and it has agreed to the Hong Kong International Convention. So this keyword is about the act and the convention which India has agreed to in regards to the recycling of ships is in Hong Kong International Convention, and the act is Recycling of Ships Act 2019, and India has 12 major ports which is under control of the center, and these 12 major ports handle 60% of the cargo traffic. And now India is aspiring to grab at least 50% of global ship recycling business, wherein now the ship recycling business in India is currently 30%, wherein India is aspiring to increase it to 50%. That is, the keyword here is, which you need to focus, is global ship recycling business is the keyword. And for this, the government has made it very clear in the budget 2021 that 7 major ports out of 12 would be privatized. And the news which is in regards to the farm cess, so there would be a cess on the agricultural infrastructure and development, and by that the consumers will not be burdened, is the statement made by the finance minister. And the finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman has announced an agriculture infrastructure and development cess. So this is the keyword again. So this is the new cess which the finance minister has announced in the budget, that is agriculture infrastructure and development cess, and this cess would be on a select items such as petrol, diesel, apples and alcohols. And the minister is emphasizing that in spite of AIDC, that is agriculture infrastructure and development cess on petrol, diesel, apples and alcohol, they will, and this would have an immediate need, or that this is need of the hour. Why? Because to improve agriculture infrastructure in the country. So AIDC is necessary to improve agriculture infrastructure in India. And the finance minister says that the basic custom duty rates have been reduced. Please do understand here and link it that the AIDC, that is CES, Agriculture Infrastructure and Development CES, has been announced, but the basic custom duty rates have been reduced. This you need to have the linking, CES versus the custom duty. So the cess has been introduced, but the custom duty rates have been reduced on most items where AIDC is being imposed. Why the finance minister has done so? That announcing the cess but reducing the custom duty rates on the items where AIDC is being imposed, because this should not, that means if you have cess and custom duty on items, it will burden the end consumer. So to avoid or not to put a burden onto the end consumer, the finance minister has come up with announcing the cess, but simultaneously reducing the custom duty rates on items wherein AIDC is being imposed. And this initiative will ensure enhanced remuneration for the farmers, and in turn it will improve the agriculture infrastructure. So look at the way the finance minister has balanced between the AIDC imposing of cess and reducing the custom duty rates on the AIDC which items are being imposed, and AIDC would be of 2.5 rupees per litre levied on petrol and 4 per litre on diesel. But the basic excise duty and special additional excise duty rates have been reduced. Why? Again, the main analysis is the duty. Look at here, custom duties have been reduced, excise duty and additional excise duties have been reduced on petrol and diesel, wherein AIDC has been imposed, announced, so that no additional cost would be borne by the consumer. So please do understand the two keywords here, cess and duty. So how cess is been imposed, but the duty, that is custom duty and excise duty, have been reduced on the AIDC items which have been imposed. And the other news is in regards to the highways. And in the union budget, Ministry of Road Transport and Highways have received 1,18,100 crore. It's a huge allocation by the finance minister to the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, and out of the 1,18,100 crore, 1,08,230 crore is for capital expenditure. Here the keyword is capital expenditure. And the finance minister has also informed the parliament that under Bharatmala project, again the keyword is the Bharatmala project, which will be of 13,000 kilometers of roads will be connected through the Bharatmala project by 2022. Another 8,500 kilometers would be part of the Bharatmala project. So 13,000 kilometers as of now, and by 2022 another 8,500 kilometers would be added to the Bharatmala project. And the finance minister has announced, or the government has announced, national highway projects for the poll bond states, that is Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal and Assam. That is why the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways have received 1,18,100 crore for the national highway projects. So the keyword here is national highway projects have been announced in the budget 2021, which are poll bound states. That means the states which will go for elections or poll bound states, that is Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal and Assam. And when we focus particularly on each state, Tamil Nadu will go ahead with having a total of 3,500 kilometers with an outlay of 1,03,000 crore rupees, and this work, national highway work, would be on the Madurai Kollam and then Chittur Thatchur corridors. And in regards to Kerala, it is 1,100 kilometers highway, national highway works with an outlay of 6,500 crore, and the work would be on Mumbai Kanyakumari corridor. And in West Bengal, the work or the project of the national highway would be on 675 kilometers with an outlay of 25,000 crore, and this would be including the upgrading of the existing road, that is from Kolkata to Siliguri. Siliguri is the economic corridor which is at the Chicken's Neck, which is the last economic corridor which would be a part or very close to China. And when we focus at Assam state, the kilometers which the national highway work would be taken up is 1,300 kilometers of roads with 19,000 crore of outlay, and an additional of 31 or 34,000 crore would be added to Assam for the national highway projects. So we have looked at Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal and Assam, which are now poll bound states which are now going ahead with the national highway projects. And in regards to the health and well-being, the budget has allocated 2,23,846 crore for health and well-being, and this outlay is 137% increase from the previous year, that is 2020, and the allocation includes 60,030 crore which will be for drinking water and sanitation, and for nutrition and outlay allocation is 2,700 crores. So the health and well-being constitutes drinking water, sanitation, nutrition, and close to 49,000 crore would be the finance commission grants, and the 35,000 crore would be for the COVID-19 vaccination program. And this entire allocation in the health includes even the spending by the Ministry of Ayush, which is of 2,970 crore. And the focus of the allocation is for strengthening three areas which has been mentioned by the Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan, that it would be strengthening the preventive health, curative health and well-being areas by allocating 2,23,846 crore outlay in health and well-being, which is of 137% increase comparing it with the previous years. And Nirmala Sitharaman has also announced new centrally sponsored scheme. New, please do understand. And this new scheme is PM Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana. Keyword, the new scheme which has been announced, which is centrally sponsored scheme, is PM Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana, and this would be launched with an outlay of 64,180 crore over 6 years. And this centrally sponsored scheme, which is PM Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana, is to improve the primary, secondary, and tertiary health system, and it will strengthen the national institutions, and it will create new institutions so that it will cater to detection and it will cure new and emerging diseases. So what is important that the government is focusing is not just the way it has happened in the year 2020 to effectively counter COVID-19 pandemic situation, but now there would be a creation of new institution. Please do understand here, creation of new institution which will cater to detection and cure of new and emerging diseases. That is part of PM Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana, and this scheme aims at supporting rural and urban health and wellness centers, which are 17,788 in rural and 11,024 in urban. And the scheme will establish integrated public health labs. Please do understand here, it is integrated public health labs in all districts, and the scheme will strengthen the National Center for Disease Control, and it will strengthen its 5 regional branches. So you have 5 National Center for Disease Control regional branches, and you have 20 metropolitan health surveillance units, and all this will be strengthened by PM Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana. And this scheme will establish 9 biosafety level 3 laboratories, and it will establish 4 regional National Institute of Virology, because right now we have National Institute of Virology which is in Pune. Now the PM Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana will establish 4 regional NIV, that is National Institute of Virology. And we will now look at the budget breakdown so that we will understand in toto that how the budget allocation has been made. So the main budget allocation is done to the interest payments. Interest payments of interest. So it is it has increased to 3.16 percentage, and on food subsidy it has reduced to minus 5.28 percentage with an outlay of 2,42,836 crore. For transport it has increased to 0.36 percentage, that is outlay, budget allocation to transport has increased. For rural development it has decreased to 0.68 percentage. For pension it has decreased to 0.49 percentage. For defense it is neither increased nor decreased, but it has optimally allocated the budget which was earlier to the defense with 3,47,088 crore. For agriculture and allied industries it is plus, increased to 0.4 percentage. For education it has increased to 0.21 percentage. For health it is minus 2.5 percentage, and for tax administration it is minus 0.52 percentage. For transfer to the states it is increased to 2.42 percentage. For finance plus it has increased to plus 1.17 percentage, and for home affairs it has been increased to 0.42 percentage. For fertilizer subsidy it has reduced the outlay to minus 1.6 percentage, and For Union Territories, it is plus 0.04 percentage. For social welfare, it is increased to 0.24 percentage. For energy, it is allocated to 42,824 crore. And for urban development, 54,581 crores. For trade, IT and telecom, it is 53,108, which is of increase of 0.59 percentage. And for commerce and industry, it is an increase of 0.31 percentage points. For external affairs, it is increased to 0.09 percentage. For petroleum subsidy, it has reduced to or decreased to 0.75 percentage. So this is the breakdown of budget, which is for financial year 2022, comparing it with the financial year 2021. So we have looked at the entire budget news analysis in toto, major one, which we have focused from prelims as well as mains perspective. And I hope this budget session will certainly be helpful for mains and prelims. And I would say a very big thank you and a good luck to you all. Do maintain consistency, stick to your schedule, and take care of your physical health and mental health. And do not forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe the AKS IAS Academy English Medium YouTube channel, and also have access to the website and the Telegram link of AKS IAS Academy. And then see you again with the daily news analysis tomorrow. And then till then, thank you, goodbye, and then take care.